Well, Southern Utah played great. I thought they played the best game of the year of their young season. Give them credit, man. They were throwing a lot of haymakers. They got down early in the game, and they kept competing and fighting back. And I loved how we started the second half. Thought we got a good jump on them, and they kept fighting. Give them a lot of credit. They had some guys play outstanding basketball. Thought their big kid was really, really good. We've been very good defending in the post all year, and that was as hard a time as we've had on the season guarding him. Gets 20 points on 15 shot attempts, and then they basically play four guards and they put some pressure on you, and they got going. They made us pay. Obviously, they banked three in for the game, including that last one, but banked in two big ones in that first half to kind of keep them, keep the ship afloat, so to speak. And then number 4 for them, Housley was absolutely outstanding. You could see on tape that kid's gonna be a very good player. He is a good player as a freshman, Utah kid, and like we said, we have 3 straight games against Utah schools, right? Utah, tonight BYU, and then of course Utah Valley, and it's funny how that works a lot of times, where those guys, really shine in those environments. And he made a lot of plays and played very poised and control. Offensively, we were able to kind of do whatever we wanted. I thought we had good shots, in that stretch where they came back in the first half, just too many turnovers there. But at the end of the day, we end up with 22 assists and 10 turnovers. Got to guard better. It's got to be more disciplined, got to be tougher, got to be able to guard consistently. That's how you win at a high level. We're going to find ways to score. Obviously, we get 88 tonight. So outscored them in the paint, 56-30. Keba was outstanding, 23 and 8, right? 11 for 12 from the field, over 90%. And Ben, I thought, was very good as well. Just really, really steady. 15 points on 8 shot attempts with 10 rebounds. So he gets a double-double, kind of a quiet 15 and 10, if you can say that. And so I thought those guys really spearheaded us. And then Gabe, late had a couple big plays, driving closeouts and finishing at the rim. But we're going to have to play a lot better. We got a really good team coming in here on Saturday, and we have to play a heck of a lot better if we're going to have a chance on Saturday.
With 42 combined fouls, did it feel like tonight was just disjointed? Did it couldn't get into a rhythm?
Fouling happens for a lot of different reasons. Part of it is them. Part of it, to me, is just readiness. Being in the right position and a readiness to compete. So if you're not in the right position, you're already half a step behind. I don't know that we had the urgency that we needed to consistently by everybody. Some guys definitely did, but other guys not so much. And as players, you have to adapt to the game. We're one of the top teams in the country in not fouling, right? So, sometimes when you play the big boys, so to speak, and you play a lot of Power 5 teams, a lot of times it's just no harm, no foul. It's just how you play, right? And it's the same both teams. You got to figure it out. Tonight they were calling it a lot closer, right? That's a really good reffing crew out there. Players have to adapt. You got to be able to adjust. You got to be able to figure it out. So that's, how it goes sometimes. But certainly it felt uneven for sure.
On a night that Keba obviously plays really well, does that make you kind of want to give him more as Carlson returns to the lineup and maybe pair him with him a little bit more?
Yeah, we'll see. Lawson's a really good player. Like they're so different, and I think that helps make both better, if that makes sense. Keba, it's interesting. I haven't asked Keba this, but he obviously didn't play against Houston, and he didn't play against St. John's. So when you're sitting there on the bench and you feel like helpless, and you really everybody loves Keba. I think he just A, felt bad, and B, sometimes you see the game through a little bit different lens, right? And maybe you realize how special it is to be a college student athlete, right? And be able to get out there and compete. Since that time, I feel like he's taken his game to a different level with his voice, the way he communicates now. And obviously he's had great production in the last 3 games since he's been back. And tonight certainly. Now, some of that stuff was a product of like our actions and how they guard. Like they're hard hedging a lot, right? And I thought our guards made a lot of right plays. We made a lot of really good plays. Like to get 22 assists, you have to do that because we didn't shoot it great. We didn't shoot it bad, but we didn't shoot it great. So a lot of that stuff was just making the right read off of their screen and roll coverage and looking inside. And he just had a lot of point blank, opportunities where nobody was around him.
With Saturday, I mean, is Brandon's injury enough to keep him available then? And kind of what's also Will's status maybe going into that game?
Brandon, I don't know. We just literally we'll be off tomorrow and then have 2 days of practice going into Saturday. I don't know. It's just too early to tell. BC obviously being a fifth-year guy, and it's Utah against BYU, right? And is a guy that grew up in this state, and from the time he was a little guy, has always been following it. So I know it matters to him, and I guarantee he's going to do everything he can to play. But I just don't know, and we gotta think the big picture on this thing too. So obviously he's an anchor for us. You could see that at times tonight. We're just a stabilizing force, for us. So it's hard to say. I would be very surprised if Will plays. It's just one of those things that's been a nagging, lingering thing, and he, quite frankly, hasn't done anything since. First game was the 6th, 7th, so since November 8th. So it's been almost a month now. So we'll see, and hopefully we'll get more information, early next week to kind of judge where we think he could come back.
Did you ever get an explanation for the jump ball out of the flop?
Yeah, so it's when the whistle blows. So that's what I was asking. I know the rule. Well, it's when the whistle blows, who has possession of the ball. So if nobody, and that's what they said, nobody had the ball, so then it becomes a jump ball, right? So and it went to their way. So I said to them, like, that might be a little bit of a flaw in the rule, meaning, obviously there was an impact on the play. Was it Lawson? I think it was Lawson that went up and missed the shot. So they made the right call because it's when the whistle was blown. So if we would have got the offense rebound when the whistle was blown, it would have been our ball, right? If they would have got the defense rebound when the whistle, it would have been their ball, but nobody had it, so it goes to the jump.
You've used Erickson quite a bit, maybe in replacement of Bajema or something. Where are you seeing maybe those two players right now and in their progression of where you need them to be?
We need them both to be just consistent, right? Consistent. So we know exactly what we're going to get, and Hunter he makes a lot of right reads on the offensive end. Cole, I thought, had some clean looks. It just wasn't his night tonight, but he had some really clean looks, right? That we feel very good about. It just wasn't going down. And so, I don't think there's a trend or anything like that yet. But we're going to play the guys that we feel like obviously impact winning at the highest level.
Couple more questions. Thoughts on going on up against BYU next week?
Yeah, on Saturday, they're playing great. They're playing really, really well. Got a chance to watch them. Obviously, we had some time here between Thursday's game and tonight's game, and so you always try to work ahead. And kudos to them, man. They're playing outstanding. They look really, really good. They're playing with a lot of force. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're really sharing the ball, playing connected. Obviously, they're shooting a lot of threes, but I feel like they're defending hard. They get to the glass. You don't just get to be ranked 14th in the country by accident. So it's going to be a heck of a game. I think it's a great game for both sides. Obviously, next year we're going to be in the Big 12, so I think we'll be playing twice a year is what I would expect, although I don't know that for a fact. All right, and before all that happened, obviously Mark Pope, their coach, and I had been talking about renewing keeping the series going because this is the last year of the contract. I think it's very important for the state. I think it's very important for their fan base, for our fan base. It's a game that especially the Utah kids growing up, it's a big deal. It's a huge thing, and we're excited for this opportunity. It'll be a quad one game. As of right now, it's clearly a quad one game. They're number 2 in the country in the net rankings, on the first net ranking that came out. Obviously, that's going to change a lot as we progress through. But we've had a very difficult schedule. This is another one of those games. We've played some very good teams, but we're gonna have to play a lot better if we're gonna have any chance to win that game on Saturday night.
Keba, you decided to go with the casual 23 points tonight. No. How did it feel, honestly, to be able to be out there and just kind of be in your element and have that many points tonight?
Just feel normal, you know. Just my mindset, go out there and compete like every other night, and so that was a mindset. So yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting more comfortable out there now? I know last year we're coming in the first year, but is it just kind of clicked maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. The game is slowing down, definitely for me. So I'm able to, see some things now than last year. So definitely the game is slowing down. So yeah.
Gabe, obviously you guys had no problems building up a big lead early. You did it again in the second half, but they kept coming back. What was kind of I don't want to say disconnect, but how did they just keep getting back into that game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's just ebbs and flows of basketball game, but that was something we talked about. After the first one, I was like, all right, let's not let them get back into it, and then it happened, and then we just got to have more discipline, I feel like, and just not let that happen. It's a veteran group that we have, and there's really no excuse.
Did you guys go to a zone a little bit late in that second half?
Yeah.
What do you think was effective?
Yeah, we just wanted to throw them off a little bit. We know that it's worked in a couple other games. Just when the team's rolling, we want to throw something else at them and see if they can handle it. And I think, to be honest, it was working really well. And then on the first possession, they had no idea what they were doing, and then threw in a deep three, and so then that gave them a little confidence. But just throw them off a little bit.
And there's a lot of fouls. I mean, there's 42 fouls called between the two teams. How hard is it to kind of get into a rhythm as a player to kind of just feel like you can get into what you need to do?
Yeah, no, it definitely affects the game. When there's a lot of fouls, it slows it down, and like you said, it just kind of the rhythm of the game kind of is just broken up. So, no excuses obviously about that, but you can definitely feel that.
What did you think about Ben's game tonight, especially considering he was filling in for Brandon out there?
Yeah, Ben's really. He's been just really confident this year, I think, and you can just tell it that he's feeling good and feeling confident. And we all trust Ben to shoot threes and play a little bully ball down there. So I think he's growing into just the confidence of as a senior does.
David, what do you think? How does your game translate moving forward through the season? How do you feel like you can kind of keep building on these games?
I gotta, be better defensively. I think to me defense translates to offense. If you're good defensively, offense is gonna come naturally. So I think that's the key for this season.